It's February 4th, 2023. Today we have a very good show for you. I'll be joined by my regular panelists, and we would be talking about some of the pressing issues occurring in Ghana. So, two things we want to discuss today. We want to talk about the case between the Republic of Ghana and Opuni, in which Justice Clement Honiniga says, I have given you too much time. I have given you too much time. We want to break that down and kind of understand what does it mean that he has given the defense counsel too much time, and why is that very important for the statement made by the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, in this case, Godfred Dami. So that will be the first thing we talk about. And the second thing we want to discuss is the issue of the cathedral that's we are building, or that the president promised, that is something he wants to do in appreciation to his maker for making him, or for assisting him to become the president. The president chose a board of the secretary of the cathedral, and that secretary, as we have found out, actually created a business on his own and entered into contracts to provide services for the organizations which he is the secretary to its board. We're looking to dive that is created what we call a conflict of interest, and how we should perhaps move forward on that. So we are going to discuss the identity crisis of the National Cathedral. We will be right back to continue the conversation. All right, welcome back to the show again. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and you are watching the Ghana Agenda today. It's February 4th, 2023. And today, like I mentioned earlier, we are talking about two very important issues. So, on, I believe, Friday, which was yesterday, matter of fact, this story started from on Thursday, but it kind of continued into the Friday. And what I'm talking about here is the Attorney General, Godfred Dami, has made a comment that it is unacceptable. He said he finds it unacceptable and unfair that the criminal trials involving high-profile personalities such as the $217 million financial loss that was caused by the former CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Kobina Opuni, to be still in court after 6 years. In other words, after 6 good years of trying this case, the case is still on. It hasn't been actually finalized. So I want us to kind of take a step back and understand what is going on here. So Dr. Stephen Opuni was appointed by the John Dramani Mahama. Matter of fact, he's a medical doctor. He was appointed by John Dramani Mahama as the Cocoa Board chair. before being appointed as the cocoa board chair, he served as the CEO of FDA. In that capacity, as the CEO of FDA, he had some tussle with companies like Tobisco. What he was really doing is he found that some items like biscuit, a couple of things that the company was manufacturing were not up to standard. In other words, are not healthy. So he pulled them off from circulation. By doing so, I mean, which under normal circumstances would be the right thing. I don't think this is a personal decision that he's making or he's targeting a company, but he was flagged for such an act. Complaints were made, and maybe, perhaps he was complicit in that. So the president then, John Dramani Mahama, removed him from FDA, but made him the chair of the Cocoa Board, which is the organization that assists farmers to market cocoa products to the world. In that capacity as well, several issues were raised again. There were scandals about him dealing with a company owned by a gentleman called Agogo. The company's name is Agricult, and he went into a contract with Agricult to provide fertilizer for cocoa farmers, and apparently that company, Agricult, was not, manufacturing the chemicals or the fertilizers, and we're not delivering the fertilizers, and therefore, when government change, the first thing that happened was he was removed by the current administration, I think in the first week or so, and investigations started. Somewhere around 2017, 27 charges were filed against him for costing the country financial loss, and the investigation or the prosecution or the case has started since. One of the popular justices in our system, I'm sure you've heard of him before, Justice Clement Honiga, is one of the justices that is sitting on this case. And the story I'm reading from you here is actually, okay, I have Lifetime Legacy joining, so let me bring him in. Guys, if you haven't already done so, please, Lifetime, I was about to bring you, so don't run away. So guys, if you haven't already done so, please share, like the show, so that others who are interested can also join. This is the Ghana Agenda. We are on every Saturday. So I was just introducing the issue of Justice Honiga, Clemens Honiga. So welcome to the show, Lifetime Legacy. I was just giving preliminary comments on, the story of the Opuni case, so that we can get into that discussion. So just stay put for me. Let me kind of do this quick introductions, and hopefully others may join at that time. So Honiga, and of course, if you want to add to the introduction as well, I'll stop at some point and you can provide some of the facts as you know them. So Honiga, it's one of, those popular judges in Ghana. He's actually sitting on this case. And according to this story, it's been taking years. So the Chief Justice has, however, it's been taking years to the point where Justice Honiga himself has gotten to a point where he needs to retire. I think he was supposed to have retired in September of 2022. He turned 70 by the laws in Ghana. At 70, Chief Justice, Justice of the Supreme Court, it's time for you to retire. But the current Chief Justice gave him 6 additional months so that he can wrap up this case. The 6 months given to him would expire in March 2023. So what we are running against is, if March 2023 comes, which is about a month from now, if this case is not done, a new justice will be assigned to it, and perhaps, the hearings will have to start from scratch. And this is where the frustration is coming from, as far as the Attorney General is concerned. And he's making the comment that, it's unfair that the case has lingered on for almost 6 years, and that he was wishing they could have, wrap it up sooner. And why has the case lingered on for this long? The story here I'm looking at is saying that the counsel for I believe Agogo in this case, his name is Mr. Nuchukbi. Okay, has been cross-examining the witnesses, or he's been taking some time to cross-examine some of the witnesses. And according to him, some of these witnesses were board members for over 8 years. They have extended experience with the organization, in this case, Cocoa Board, and the agriculture company that is has been alleged to have gone into this fraudulent deals with the former chair of the Cocoa Board. That is currently the issue being adjudicated, and that he needed time. He needed time to walk through all this evidence that is being presented by these people, to question them, to cross-examine them, and get them on the record before he can rest. Now, judges usually have the liberty to either extend the time or minimize the amount of time that counsel will have to do a cross-examination or direct cross of a witness. So Honiga is saying that he has been lenient. He allowed so much time for the cross-examination. So let me read that. It says, Justice Honiga, however, disagreed, saying that of course, the counsel is taking advantage of the situation. I said, yes, you are taking advantage of it. The judge emphasized, adding, if I had limited your right from get-go cross-examination, from the beginning of cross-examination, one day you were to finish. If you don't finish, well, that is it. Through the cross-examination, I said, though the cross-examination went 2 to 3 days, if you were to finish, that would have been it, but I tolerated it. I over-tolerated all of you. Yes, especially if you be frank to yourself, I over-tolerated you. So that is the word. The word is, the judge says he over-tolerated the cross-examinations, and that is why the case is lingering on. So this is just to kind of give you a quick background on why we are where we are, or why the Attorney General is making the comment that it is unfair for the case to at least take this long. Anyway, so lifetime legacy. Anything you think I may have left out in this particular case that you would like to add to the background, so that people who perhaps may be hearing this for the first time can understand what is going on?
Thank you, Alfred. Good afternoon to our viewers and listeners across the group. I'm expecting my other colleagues to join the show so that we have a fruitful discussion. Alfred, there is one thing you left which for me you didn't add, but I can understand you by virtue of where you sit. There is no way you can add that particular one. I would have loved for you to refer Onyenuga as the MPP judge who was appointed by the president just to come and do his bid. But like I said, by virtue of where you sit, you cannot add that statement. Nevertheless, some of us, that is why we are here. Alfred, when you look at the Justice Onyenuga, how he was appointed and when he assumed the position, one of the biggest issues he had been dealing with is that of Opuni and Agogo. We have countless occasions heard unfair remarks by this judge. Sometimes he tried to throw the evidence that are material to Opuni's case. He decided that he would not admit them, or he would throw them away. There have been an occasion where he questioned the mental faculty or mental stability of Opuni. And as a judge, the least that was the least expected of him. That you as a judge who somebody is before you, or that person's faith is before you or in your hand, you'll be questioning the mental faculty of the person. Not that alone, he have made a lot of remarks which to those of us who are not even lawyers, let alone become judges, could even read in between the line and says that he's sitting on the bench and he's doing politics with where he sits. We all knew his time is due for retirement, but for political reason, political expediency, the Chief Justice, who is also a known MPP member, a card-bearing member of MPP, and having interest in the case going on, decided that he will extend the tenure of Justice Onyanuga. Alfred, this is a criminal case. And criminal case, you cannot be in a rush to dispense the case.
Right.
All material evidence that are needed are supposed to be admitted. All witnesses that are supposed to be called must be allowed, because we are talking about a human rights situation here, or we are talking about somebody's liberty. So
Right.
the Attorney General frustration, yes, the Attorney General's frustration, if it's not for political reason, I don't know why he must be frustrated.
Right.
And as for Justice Homenuga, as he's noted of making loose comments, I am not surprised of that latest remarks again. If the time is due, and the Chief Justice, we are all looking forward and see if the Chief Justice will renew his time when he gets to deal in March again. Is he the only judge in the country? I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, we just want to make sure we kind of push back on your comments that, you know, the justices are known members of the MPP. We are not by any means endorsing those comments, because we don't have any information to reliably claim or support that information. But it's your opinion. It's not a fact that you know. So we'll keep it at that and continue the conversation. Yeah.
As the accounts will normally say in Tree, they say, assembly adanse nature edi asem. To wait, you can look at a trend of a particular case and the way it went about. The evidence produced in that particular case can be an evidence on another case.
Right.
You get it? So we've all knew.
Maybe that is the case, you know, whatever party feels aggrieved has the right to seek redress in an appeals court, or in an appellate court. So again, it's not I mean, if you feel like you're not being fairly treated in the high court, you have the appeals court that you can go to, you have the Supreme Court that you can go to. So I believe
research has also proven.
I'm just trying to say that
research conducted by Dr. Raymond or Professor Raymond Atuguba, have gone to affirm that most of the judges or the Supreme Court judges who have been appointed always try to do the bidding of the government that appointed them. And he went further to cite an example of the posture and the way some of the cases are being dealt with under the current Chief Justice. So I am not in any way just throwing words about without knowing what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well,
and
I'll still caution you to not say that. I mean, you are. It's your opinion. It's better to say that I mean, your opinion is not opinions are not subject to defamation. So I want to make sure you are properly advised on this. I mean, you are allowed to have your opinion. as long as it's not a factual information that you're stating, right? That way you are in the clear, because we are talking about justices of the Supreme Court here, sir.
Yeah, so that is, I'm expressing my opinion on this
Is
platform.
your opinion correct?
Yeah, it's my opinion. So we've like I said earlier on in a local dialect, where a case or an evidence of a particular case and the way it was presented can be used as an evidence or a witness of another case. We all knew how Chief Justice Enimi Yagba conducted himself after 2012 election petition. We knew how he conducted himself. We know the position of the lead counsel then, Chatuti Kata position on as far as the Chief Justice is concerned. I mean, I can go on and on and on and give you a lot of examples that have been cited as far as his conduct as this thing is concerned. So I am not in any way saying that those people who express their opinion, like I am also doing now, we are wrong. It is because we are making some of these assertions based on the way they are conducting themselves. They are trying to be more politicians than the judges that they are supposed to be.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thanks for those comments. We are also joined by Paul DeSoso. Paul, can you hear us? And if you can, is it possible to show your face? If you can,
Hello.
we are doing preliminary comments on the Opuni case, and I would give you this opportunity to take it away, but I would prefer that you show us your face so we can see you, especially for those who are looking at us for the first time, to identify you. So, Paul, over to you. Anything in the introduction that you think we may have left out of that case? We talked about the fact that Opuni, being the FDA CEO of FDA, had some issues with Tobisco, then got moved to Cocoa Board, where again scandals were alleged against him. For example, the one with the Agri-Cults company, which is owned by Agogo, someone he's standing trial with, and the trial has delayed for years, over 6 years. And the reason being ascribed to the delay is that, the lawyers are taking their time to cross-examine every single one of those witnesses, and they are very thorough with it, and it's taking so much time. The judge is frustrated. The judge is saying that he should have controlled the amount of time they needed from the beginning, but he didn't. And now it is taking even past his retirement, because he was supposed to have retired, I believe, this last September, but he was given 6 additional months to wrap the case up, which means much. But I don't think they are at points where they are doing closing arguments yet. They are still on the cross-examinations. They need to go through closing arguments, and then a judgment need to be rendered, and that need to be written and passed. So I'm not sure whether all those grounds could be covered in just 1 month before he retires. And when he's done retiring, it means another judge will have to hear the case. He may prefer to perhaps start de novo, which means go from scratch, or just go with the records that has already been established. So there is different pieces moving in this case, and it's causing the Attorney General to be frustrated and make the statement the other day that it is unfair to kind of have this case linger on. What do you believe I left out of that summary that you want to add? Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I personally think the Attorney General was just being mischievous, trying to score political points.
Okay.
Was just trying to most of their followers to let them know that the promise they gave to them when they were in opposition, and that they've killed Opuni, so they can get a topic or they can get something to divert attention from the abysmal, from the poor economic scene. Look, justice is, and the process is that the both sides cross-examine, make sure that whatever information that is given is the people's life is at stake.
Right.
Whether the case has long run, yes, it's not the issue. The issue is that the process is being. Nobody can push or put pressure for the process in their opinion.
Right.
You're talking about the judge going on retirement next. If the judge is going on retirement, there are many instances and many cases he's going on retirement. The case is handed over to another judge. So I mean, this is not an issue we should worry our head over or we should be bothered about. The question over here is the legal system has been designed in a way that it has remedy for us to go on retirement. So if Justice Ononga is going on retirement, or he has a judge and the judge will take it from them.
Right.
For me, we should not try to force or try to put pressure on any judge, justice, which later will be found to be faulty.
Right.
By it has been, I mean, affected. Well, yeah. I would say this.
So, I mean, that's my concern too, right? Because I'm like, especially this person's rights and liberties are at stake here. So it will be unfair to the accused person to rush this through. I think the time should be afforded him and his counsel to make all the necessary inquiries before they arrest their case. So you are saying that in your view as well, the comments being made in the media by the Attorney General it's political, that it's uncalled for. If he has any issues with that, he should actually be addressing it to the court instead of putting it in the media domain. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, he has no issue to put the court or put him in saying that he's playing mischief, he's playing propaganda, he's trying to score political points. That's why he's making those comments. For to make a comment that he's frustrated. Why wouldn't he even also prosecute some of his own people who we have raised against? Right. Also put them in court for us to see that idea. He's trying to seek justice for everybody. So for me, it's a political talk. Just ignore him. He's looking for the abysmal performance of the NPP government. He's looking to divert attention failure of Baumia and another government, so that at least there will be a launch on for the past or for the rest of the weeks, so that a little pressure will be taken off. He's doing nothing more, nothing else. I will not waste my time much on this issue. Justice will go through the process, and so far from the court reporting that we've all heard, it has done nothing wrong.
Right.
The most of the people who they brought to be a witness, when they cross-examine them, they've gone back against most of the statements they make. I don't know what he's trying to put across. But the question over here is a fundamental ejaculation of trying to force the to give justice to peace, so that they can say indeed to jail an NDC officer. That's all they are trying to do. Nothing more, nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, Paul, I think Dr. Lawrence is saying your sound is not coming well. So maybe if you could check your audio. Are you on the phone or you are home in front of a computer?
I'm on the phone, so I'm going to move to the laptop.
Okay. All right, cool. So I guess once you get on the laptop, you should have a better sound. Now, Dr. Lawrence, I'm going to send you the link. If you're available, please join us so we can do justice to this topic. So I guess just taking a step back with regards to how this whole case came about, I remember quite well that this whole thing was very much instigated by Kennedy Japan when the NPP were in opposition. He made several comments, constantly accusing agri-cults and Dr. Opuni of, having insider deals, that those fertilizers that they contracted for the period, I believe 2015 to 2016, were not delivered, that Mr. or Dr. Stephen Opuni himself obtained a license to be a chemical or whatever you call it, fertilizer manufacturer, which he didn't get the license for, and that he was doing, it was in conflict of interest. So a lot of the accusations were political to start with, or they were coming from political quarters. So are you surprised that it's taking this long and they are not finding any evidence to actually back, the 27 charges filed against, the gentleman, Dr. Stephen Opuni and Agogo? I'm asking that to you, Mr. Lifetime Legacy. You think because of the political nature of, this whole case, that it was becoming difficult to, or that is one of the things that contributed to the inability of the current government to properly and expeditiously prosecute this case? We also joined by Kojo DC. Welcome, Kojo DC. All right, let's go left.
Okay. Before, one of the reasons why this incompetent, clueless, visionless, purposeless, directionless, if I'm being permitted to use the word useless government, the way and manner they came to power was through lie and fabrication. Okay, when they were in opposition, they said a whole lot of things about the NDC appointees. So it has been 6 years or 7 years now, or 6 years. They are trying to prove a point of what they told Ghanaians when they were in opposition.
Right. So you're not buying the argument that it is the cross-examinations, the excess cross-examinations that is causing the delay.
Alfred, you and I are in a advanced country where things, as far as human life is concerned, they take time to investigate, to make sure when they come out with the conviction, there will not be any, what do you call it? Stone unturned.
Right.
So we cannot, in that vein, or we cannot say that because the case have been in the court for over the last 6 years, and for that matter, if there are due process that need to be followed,
Right.
they should be shortchanged because of political promise or political reasons. So you and I, including my brothers over here, can be accused of anything one day in our country. The way we would have expected that the system would treat us, so must we also expect for others that the system should be fair for them. So it's not about how long the case will take for adjudication.
Okay.
But if the case is finally adjudicated, you and I should be back and say that, okay, this adjudication is fair.
Yep.
You get it. That's what we should be looking at. But we cannot sacrifice somebody's liberty on the altar of the case is delayed. No, we can't do that. So
Okay.
we all know the will of justice is said to be
It grinds slow.
You get it.
But also there's another maxim which goes right counter to that, which says that a justice delay is justice denied. I mean, if in fact this man is complicit, don't you think this thing should be done expeditiously so that the Ghanaian people are accounted for with regards to the 217 million cities that he's been accused of causing, or he's been accused of mismanaging and those monies, imagine we can use them on so many things right now, especially with all the things that we are going through. So don't you think if, in fact, he is culpable, that he should be expeditiously dealt with?
Alfred, I am not in any way saying that when there are witches, they should not be hunted. But we all knew very well that what this man is being accused of, a lot of them are false. The so-called fertilizer, it's proven that it's what is good for our farming situations or our farming system in Ghana.
Uh-huh.
A lot of those fertilizers were used under this administration. So I
You're
am
saying
not
that
in any way saying that
you're saying the fertilizers were not even received at all.
that is not true. Those fertilizers were available. Was even wrote on it, not for sale. But we all knew this government, when they assumed office, they were selling some of them.
Uh-huh.
They were part of the ones that we are told were traveled by donkey onto Burkina Faso. So they are just trying these people just to find a scapegoat. That is all that they are doing. And for that matter, you and I must be concerned that not for political reason, people's liberty are truncated. If it is truncated on legitimate cause, so be it, but not on the basis of political offer.
Not on the basis of a Trump or trumped up charges. That's what you're saying. Okay. Yes, good to see your face, Mr. Paul Isosu. We also joined by Kojo DC, and he has not yet commented on this topic, so I'll give him the opportunity now. Kojo DC, you're on the road. Is it safe for you to? Oh, your sound is gonna be very bad because you're on the phone. Usually, I think because we changed systems, so it doesn't really cooperate with phones. But I mean, yeah, let's see how it goes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. So, hi, bright family, and then the photos were met. Your initial supposed to be supposed to be yes. No? Now the
Yeah, your sound is so bad. We cannot hear you at all.
My whole
The sound is bad.
So, can you hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Better. This is just the way. Paul, your initial supposed to PDS. You know that would be nice. Paul, how are you in Life Legacy?
I'm doing good, my brother.
Good.
Yeah, I'm fine, my brother. Why must he be PDA?
I think he's saying it must be PDS because
PDS.
of Paul Disposal. But
That is
yeah,
that is my initials when I was joining the campaign. Those were my Instagram page, my letterhead, everything was using PDS.
Right.
Senior comrade, when you say PDS, then you mean something in MPP.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. PDS, man.
It doesn't mean anything to
You didn't
MPP.
get
It's
yet.
PDS. It's PDS.
No, I mean,
I know where he's trying to go, but I'm just trying to help him. I'm just trying to help him. That's for nothing more, nothing else.
Right. Okay, let's go.
Let me go ahead with this, you know.
Yeah, so Kojo, I guess the question to you is, I mean, what is your understanding of this whole case? People are saying it's politically charged, therefore the delay that we are seeing is meant to happen. None of those political cases that were brought in actually even made it through the court expeditiously. And majority of the charges that we are currently seeing were pretty much pre-given by your boss, Kere Japan. He was on radio pressing that this man is corrupt, and I don't know if those were the basis on which these charges were actually filed, but perhaps there were thorough investigations done, and if those investigations are anything to go by, then those witnesses need to be crossed. So from the media reports we are having, the Attorney General is complaining because he's taking time to cross-examine the witnesses. So the question would have been that, I mean, shouldn't that be what we want? Wouldn't we want to thoroughly look through all the issues and the matters raised before we reach a judgment on somebody's liberty?
Understand? Alfred, because the case is in court, I will not even in terms of what is at stake at the moment. But there's that bother all of us, and that is when I agree with the Attorney General said it is very disgraceful for such a case to take so long. And we have some petty thievery, and then it's some days, 2-3 days, but it's all takes long when it's a political stuff, especially when they are prosecuting a appointee of a full government. It all goes that long. There are all kind of calculatives where lawyers will use to prolong. Sometimes it takes a minute, and then government in hand, and then those things are gone. And all legitimate. They are of the legal system, not a lawyer. From what I always, the laws there for us. You can use your advantage as long as it's you, right? Let me say this. It is so disgraceful. At the end of the day, why do we have to take so long? For instance, there's no case against Dr. Opuni. We should be praying and say we don't have a case against him. If the case, this should be expedited. 6 years too long to you call it costing financial to the state. I think you have to take 6 years there. Before you in these charges, you should be able to solid evidence to back up. If you're talking about people the witness
Yeah, we are having issue with your son again, Kojo. So I don't know what you did in the past and it came clear, but now it's gone bad again. So I'll look into that again and come back if you don't mind. Yeah, just look into your sound and then come back.
All right. Can you hear me?
It sounds good now. Yeah.
All right. So, crossing exam witnesses which are not being in line with whatever, or people changing their. This has always been something that goes on in the law court. You have witnesses, especially when the case takes so long like this. People forget. Memories losses in a way, right? And then I would say this. It might not be nice, but that's the fact. You see, when people are in government and there are people in the same office or in the same department or agencies, because of political reasons, people are also made to make some allegations against people without having a proper understanding or a proper evidence to back up whatever they're saying. And then prosecuted, now you have to go like a fishing expedition. You have to go in and see if you can see something or not. And those things are something that borders in our country, because at the end of the day, we charge people because they're in the former government, and we've heard that they've done their embezzle money, they've done without having a concrete evidence because somebody gave a leak of a paper without knowing it, right? So it is just bordering everything in our country, especially the judicial system. This is not giving faith to the country, the judicial system, the faith that is supposed to have. At the end of the day, we need to prosecute people when we know they've done a wrong thing. We don't just do it because people are making allegations of that, or we don't have any concrete evidence to do that. And that is my worry. It's like, and it happens in both sides. It happens in our government when Asabi was charged, Kodumpieni, what do you call it, Tarzan,
So
all of that.
May be the case. Are you saying that may be the case in this particular case? Because it was political.
I am not saying that, but if the file was a prologue, this is what I always have to put myself into, because I've been in the country for a minute. I know how things go when government changes hands, and then people always have to do all this, and then they go through all this legal gymnastics, and then at the end of the day, nothing comes out, and then everybody goes home, and then we waste the resources of the country, the very little that we have. So that's why I'm trying to draw our attention because it's already in the court. I'm not judging. I don't want to prejudge anything, but we should also sit back as Ghanaians and see, is that the way we want to rule our country? We will not have the best people to come forward to serve the country when they see that things that are going to be like this at the end of a tenure of another government. I'm going to be in trouble. So we should also look back and sit down and say, hey, we can't politicize everything all the time. If people have done wrong, they should go through the due process. And I disagree with my brother Lyle Time that said some of the charges are not right. So if some of the charges are not right, it means some of them are right. So why don't we deal with that we know he or she is guilty of? I'm not talking about Opuni now, but I'm just being general on this very one. I know we are talking about Opuni. Why don't we deal with these things that we all know that at the end of the day they've spent money that they're supposed not to spend, or they've squandered some money that they are not supposed to be spending. And if they are guilty, then fine, so be it. If they are not, they should be acquitted and discharged.
All right. Thank you so much for those comments. Let me go to Paul this also and bring Paul in for a last quick comment on this poll. You heard Brother Kojo DC saying that it's a lot of this happened in the system, right? Where politicians will promise that we are going to fight corruption. So and so has been part of corrupt deals in this administration. When we come back, we are taking him to court, and they never find anything. How do we handle this going forward? What are some thoughts in your mind, and what are some things that you are thinking about that you would think may be ways that we can curb these frivolous charges and have investigations that do not yield anything?
Yeah, thank you. In the first place, let's correct Kojo DC. Tarzan was never charged by the NDC government. There was a commission of inquiry that was set up to look into the Ghana at 50, celebration, which there was a lot of embezzlement. So after the commission looked into it, the commission is equated to a high court. So you couldn't have charged it for the second time. So that's one. Number two, Kojo Mpini was never charged. No NDC government charged Kojo Mpini. Kojo Mpini was the chief of staff under the president, J. Kufuor. Nobody took Kojo Mpini to court. So those are the two corrections. All that I'm trying to say, or what I've said this morning, is the statement by Godfred Odamin, the current Attorney General, is just mischievous. He's just playing propaganda. He's just trying to score political points. Simple and short. Because there's a lot of pressure on this government with the abysmal performance, the corruption that is eating this government, failures. The corruption in every aspect. Even looking at the school selection, there's corruption over there. So Godfred Odamin was just looking for an opportunity to be able to divert attention from this government so that their focus will go on to the NDC. Example, look at the reshuffle that happened in the leadership in the parliament. They made it a big case with the help of the media. For me, whether they like it or not, our judicial system is set in such a way that people are supposed to go through the process. There are process and there are laid down rules and regulations to go through. They have to go through it. If at the end of it, Opuni is found guilty, so be it. If at the end of it, Opuni is set free, so be it. But I know it is the wish of the super incompetent NPP government to see Opuni being jailed, so that at least they can have a campaign message going to the 2024 election, say that, you see, we told we were going to jail Opuni, we've jailed him. That is all they are trying to achieve. But unfortunately and fortunately for them, as I stated earlier on, all the court cases that we've all been following, the report that we've been reading, it's not going well for them. It is not going well for them because the people they brought to raise allegations as their witness, the state brought as their witness. Those people came to lie. They've come to lie to the court, and the court has seen that they've lied. But the justice sitting on the case refused to take action. So we wait to see what will happen. Let the process take its course. Let it go through. The lawyers of Opuni and Adongo, is it what's the name?
Yeah, Agongo.
Agongo. The
Yeah.
lawyers for Agongo and Opuni will cross-examine anyone who the state has brought to give witness in support of their case. They will thoroughly cross-examine them, expose them for everybody to see that this was orchestrated. By so doing, in the future, this will be an example for the NDC as well.
Mhm.
Yes, we are raising a lot of allegations, a lot of corruption issues. Let's gather our documents. It's not going to sound right for us to go to court and be going through the same process that the MPP is doing now. Let's gather our evidence, documents, prove beyond reasonable doubt. That is the word. Proving beyond reasonable doubt. And in my opinion, in this opening case, I don't think they'll be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt. I don't think they can that. So we wait for it. The court will respect the court. Let's wait for the court to take its decision.
Mhm.
I mean, if the judge is going on retirement next month, so be it. He should go. They'll bring another judge. If he has to start the whole case, that is what justice is for. You cannot, rush through justice. You need to take your time. It goes through, but at the end of it, justice needs to serve to the state. Justice needs to serve to Opuni and Agongo. Justice serve to all the parties involved. That's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we would be discussing the National Cathedral issue and whether or not the is an identity crisis. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. You are watching the Ghana Agenda. Please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe in the bottom right corner so that we can always come directly to your email or to notify you on your phone, in your YouTube application, whenever we are online. If you're on Facebook, same, just like the page. That way, each time we come, you are notified. Again, today we are talking about two things. We've just finished discussing the Opuni case and the comment made by the Attorney General that it should never have taken this long just to go to this trial. That ordinary people who may perhaps have stolen things like files, like get into similar cases, get dealt with expeditiously. Why is this one taking so long? And from the news articles, we're able to piece together. It's clear that the counsel for both sides are taking their times to go through a thorough cross-examination of the witnesses. So for me, it's not clear why the Attorney General is crying foul. I mean, he's part of the process. You know how this goes. This is somebody's liberty at stake, and I think the job should be properly done so that if he's at fault, of course, we want to make sure he's prosecuted and our money is retrieved. Otherwise, give the man his day in courts. Now, let's talk about the National Cathedral. So, of course, that the current president made promises to the nation after his election that he would like to thank his maker by building a national cathedral in the capital of Accra. He set up a trust and appointed people to lead the trust and raise funds for this project. One of those people, the Secretary Marafa of the trust, is Reverend What is the guy's name? Lifetime Legacy, do you recall? He has too many names, right? So I don't know which one is which. Paul, what is the Reverend's name? The Reverend that is the secretary. Is it Reverend Edu Jemfi, who also doubles as Kobina something.
Cobra Edu Jemfi and
yeah.
Victor Kusi.
So this Reverend pretty much who is the secretary of the board has set up a company apparently under a different name, which and I believe the name of the company is JNS Consulting.
JNS,
yeah, and he's using this company, or he has used this company to gain contracts from this organization. Although the amount involved is not that much, I think it's only 2.6 million, but it smacks of a lot of rot, especially when the object or what is being done here is to build a house of God. So let me start with Kojo. I think I can get feedback from you, if you don't mind. Put yourself on mute.
Hear me?
Yeah, your thing is giving us feedback. But anyway, Kojo, we can start from you. So with this cathedral issue, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Are you surprised that this reverend has been found to have two identities in passport in a different name from what he used on the charter documents of the organization? Are you surprised that we have this type of things in our system?
All right. Let me put this. You have to be careful what you're saying. Remember, do we have anything that is saying that the reverend had any contract from the government? We don't have. It's just that it was a loan that they said it was coming from the JN and J whatever talent to the cathedral. So we should be careful of what we are saying. We don't have to just lump up everything and say, oh, he had a contract from the government. Even if he had that, that is not a problem. He's a Ghanaian. He's entitled to do that. But there's nothing of that. So as such, we speak at the moment. Listen, I don't know what we are talking about this for, because there's an investigation that is going on, which the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa has given to the strats to investigate. Even with him, that he thinks he knows everything, jack of all trade, he's not even respecting our own laws when he's being subpoenaed. He throws it in and then do whatever he wants. And these people would think, oh, they are honorable people. When your own laws that you've made, you're not even respecting it. And you expect people to respect you or believe whatever you're saying.
What are you talking about? Which law has? Are you saying that Ablakwa is now he's been subpoenaed and he didn't go?
He was given a cease of publication to Reverend Kusi. Haven't you seen the video circulating around? He threw it out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that. I know he has a temporary.
It's all part of it. You see, we live in a country where we can always tarnish people's image without going through the due process that we were just talking about Dr. Opuni. But we just go to the media, people's image without giving them the opportunity to go through the proper procedure, or what we call rule of justice. For me, I don't think I have anything much to say. Has Reverend Kusi Eboa or Boating, has he used his name other than the Jemfi, whatever Edu Jemfi that is used for his passport for NIA? No, because there are people, I have friends that we know, we call them a certain names, but in their legal names, that is not what they have. But that's what they've been called, maybe from whatever age that they were into. So I don't see any illegality about this, unless we have anything contrary.
Well, okay.
He has used his name for other things, which is criminal. If nothing of such has happened, why should I be bothered? Why would I have to be bothered about that? Or has Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, has he brought anything that is criminal? Besides that, the man is known to be Reverend Kusi Boateng, and his legal name of his passport, his businesses, everything is Edwin Jeffy. Has he done anything criminal? That is what I want to find out. You know, it's very easy to tarnish people's name and say, "Oh, this they have done that," without giving any substantial evidence of being criminality. And that is my problem. For him, even when he was called to come to do an interview, said somebody has said something. He thought that was something that was uncalled for. He flew out here, said he was coming to do temple whatever thing, came to sec over here. What had happened? Nothing. So these people, it's like when we are in opposition, we have the liberty of doing anything we want just to tell these people in image. And then when it comes to power and they ask them, say, "Oh, it was a political thing." We don't do things like that in this world, you know. It's funny.
But I mean, I'm not substantiating any of the things that has been put in the public domain by the Honorable Ablakwa, but we do have him finding out that this gentleman has two different identities. Does that bother you? That's my question.
You are learning lawyer or you become a lawyer. Is it illegal to do that in our country?
To have two identities. So when I say two identities, it means that, for instance, in the United States, we have social security numbers attached to our names, right? So even if you have two names, you can only have one social security with your name. If you change it, that social security follow your new name. It is therefore illegal for a person to have two social security numbers with two different names.
No, I was stop right there. What names beside that Adu Jeffrey that he has on all the passport that even the Honorable Okudzeto brought it out, with the exception of one, which is an expired, that Kusi Boateng, that was a driver's license. The NIA, everything, the passport, everything is Adu Jeffrey. So what? And you use anything that is expired to hold anybody responsible for any crime? I'm asking you. You're a lawyer. I'm not. So we should be careful with what we are saying. You see, when it's in the other, you think it's all right to just tarnish people's image, but that is not right. He hasn't done anything illegal unless you go have any evidence to back up that. If not, if you don't, then we should just move on and find another topic. I don't think it's even necessary. Irrespective.
Well,
I'm not a Cathedral fan. I don't go to church. I believe in God, but I have my own way of thinking. But this has to do with Cathedral, and this thing is just tarnishing people's image. And I hate that. It doesn't matter who choosing this thing is, right? It's just people work so much for their reputation, and then somebody sit there and say, "I'm an honorable person," and they just throw all this trash in out there, and then you can't even prove it. And then when you're subpoenaed or even given a letter from a court, a competent court,
well, he has not been subpoenaed. So he's not been subpoenaed for anything. What you are referring to, which we will talk about.
A 7. I just made a mistake. Somebody said you like you are seized not to speak about this. Hence, you already have sent it to the appropriate person that you think can investigate and bring the truth out.
Okay, so
now just publishing.
I think we would address that, but I'll start asking that question right away. So this morning, matter of fact, yesterday, the news came out that Ablakwa was, a temporary restraining order or injunction was placed on Ablakwa for, so that he doesn't go publishing any of the documents that he found relating to the identity of, the gentleman we are talking about. So that temporary restriction is, good for 10 days because Ablakwa has to appear and be heard if they were going to extend that. So until that happened, he's not allowed to speak about this, not to publish the specific documents that he found. He's not been gagged. He's not been told not to speak because that would have been infringement on his free speech freedoms. But what is happening here is they said the specific documents that he pulled as part of his investigations, he should not publish those. And I don't think Ablakwa violated that order. He has not gone ahead and published anything since. Mostly he uses his tutor to do so. So unless you have any contrary evidence that he is found publishing anything, I don't think you are right when you say Ablakwa is violating any law. He hasn't done so as far as I know it.
About him violating. You like the behavior of a so-called honorable member doing this in public? Are you happy with it?
I mean, are
you happy with it?
I personally would have taken this to the court process. I mean, but again, who are we dealing with? We are dealing with the executives who seem to be implicated in this. So how do you take such an information to the same body that is charged with?
If, for instance, if he's able to be a prosecutor, a judge, why did he take it to strike? Why shouldn't he have just done it by himself?
I'm saying we don't.
To the appropriate place where you're supposed to be looking into it. Why
okay,
the person say by just going on this tangent of just spewing things around? But people also have things we know. Ablakwa, we know him. I know Ablakwa when he's from Mampobi. I know him. We know when he was driving. Can we all just come out and spew things around and just be saying things to tarnish people's image? No.
What are you in his wedding? Do you know of any criminal activity that he's been engaged in?
Do you know any criminal thing that Reverend Kusi has done? Do you have anyone? No.
We currently have in the public domain that he obtained 2 identities in
and
which
by Ghana law, he can do that. By Ghana law, they can do that. You
cannot.
To do that.
You cannot.
Yes.
You cannot. Where?
Yes, you are. There's a law that you are processing. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a truck driver.
Listen, that's why I'm telling you cannot. I mean, unless you have any other contrary law that you decide.
I've asked you questions about this. What has Reverend Kusi Eboa or Kusi Boateng done? That is illegal. That is criminal. Can you give me one?
He has an identity other than his original identity, in which he opened a business and contracted with that business.
I don't have anything to say about it. You already made your mind. Just I know you don't have anything.
No, I'm not saying. I'm always quoting. I'm always quoting what is in the public domain. I haven't. This is what is in the public domain.
Is the truth. Is the gospel.
And it's said by. It is being said by an honorable member of parliament. So and I'm not saying it's conclusive or it's dispositive. I'm not laying on him any guilt. I'm just saying this has been the accusations. Matter of fact, we just spoke about.
You should be careful. They say when we are blind by politics, and just because people are party affiliation, we will just spew anything out there, and for some political expediency, the boat always turns. You know, when it turns out, and then people are doing the same to other people. I would defend anybody when their image is being tarnished. But we need to just go because somebody's affiliated with a certain project that politically is beneficial to another political party. So we should tarnish people's image for just that without giving any evidence. Why do you, first of all, send it to strike if you can know you can prove all the evidence that you have? Or why didn't you just be a judge and then go arrest him? You place where they're supposed to work on this. So why don't we just give people time? Like we are saying, we should give them time. But why are we still dragging this? I don't understand it.
So, Kojo, you know, there's a process, right? The member of parliament just couldn't go to court because individuals can't take you to court for criminal cases. It has to be the state's prosecutor that takes you to court. And the state prosecutor have to do that based on some probable cause, okay? So that probable cause was what needed to be established by Chirac. And if something is found that is triable, then it's taken through the legal system. So, I mean, you're making this comments that why wouldn't he just go to court? It doesn't work like that.
No, but are you telling me that if I have a double identity, which I've used that identity to cause any criminality, I cannot go to the police station and file a report that this person has done that? That is what.
So yes. Going to the police station, but you going to the police station.
Even what you're saying, it's not even right. They're saying that, you know, after he goes to strike is almost like the Supreme Court. Whatever finding is found is done. They can't take it to court and do anything and prosecute anybody.
Chirac doesn't have the power of a court.
To prosecute. Yes. So why did he take it over? If there's any criminality, I suppose that you're supposed to go to the police station and file a police report that I have found this two identities of Reverend Kusi Yeboah, also known as Edu Jenfin, has used his name to dupe some people, to have done some criminality. So I want you guys to investigate and charge him for it, producing evidence to it. But that was not done. It was just published on the social media.
I think he did that, and he went to the social media as well. He did both, but also nothing precludes him from discussing it in the media. He's a member of parliament. If he finds something afoul that he needs to put people on the notice of, with regards to what the other political party is doing, nothing precludes that. I mean, it's not. So, I mean, this is quasi-politics and quasi-criminality, right? He's doing politics with this information, which
I don't get any quasi-criminality. All I say is it's all about politics. It's not anything that the Okudzeto is trying to achieve.
Okay, so let me ask you the question about the topic we just finished talking about, which is the Opuni case, when Kenya Japan went on radio and made all these accusations. Were those quasi-politics and quasi-criminality, or is strictly politics?
If you look at, even when I presented, I said the same thing, is that we shouldn't be doing this to ourselves. Remember, I said that thing, that we shouldn't be doing this, that somebody's sitting down there accusing people, or people in the same organization, because of political expediency, they will bring some documents just to accuse people. I said the same thing. Maybe you didn't listen to me, I said the same thing.
I didn't listen to you, but I'm saying that even though you said that you didn't accept that was the case in the Opuni case, because I asked you specifically, are you trying to say that in the Opuni case it was purely politics they were playing? You said no, you don't have way to say that. You don't have the fact enough to say.
Asked me with the Opuni's case, and what I said was, listen, we can't just bring out things when we don't have evidence to back it up. And I'm still standing by that. If Kennedy Japan has done that without bringing any evidence to back it up, I'm against it. I don't care whoever it is at the end of the day. For me,
so Ablakwa has evidence. Ablakwa has evidence, which he submitted to Chirac, and he put it in the public domain as well. So that if Chirac try to bury it, we all know. Because again, like I said, the enforcement power is in the hands of the executives, and the executive is politically determined. This is the people, is politically determined. Therefore, you have to rely on Chirac, who, as you know, it reports to the executives. They have the prosecutorial, the attorney general works for the president.
But
so if you do something to the attorney general and the president says bury it, and you haven't shared that with the public, then the public, like yourself, will come here today and be saying, "Oh, there's no evidence. There's no evidence." Anyway,
since the Opuni case when we're in the position, and I'll say the person who was mostly vocal about it was Honorable Kennedy Japan. Have you heard him say anything after the thing went to court? No. After it was investigated, have you heard him say anything about it?
Well, but this hasn't gone to court. What are you trying to say?
If Honorable Okudzeto has done same, he was on the social media.
Has the Cathedral case gone to court yet?
No. We are not.
Okay, if it hasn't gone to court yet, what would you say? Honorable Ablakwa should be quiet. He wasn't quiet before he went to court.
Hold on, my brother. What I'm saying is, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa came out with Kusi Yeboah and the Jenfin case. After he has done that on the social media, he went to Stratch, which is
you don't know the timeline. You don't know the timeline. That is in your mind. You have no.
There's no case. There's no case with Stratch. Are you saying that Okudzeto hasn't sent anything to Stratch?
But I'm saying that, right? No, but I'm saying that you don't know. You don't know whether he has taken those information to Stratch.
Yes, there has been acknowledgement of letter of receipt from Okudzeto from Stratch. Maybe you don't know about it.
Okay, so no. I'm saying that you are saying that he didn't go to. He went to social media before he went to Stratch, and I'm like, yes, you don't know the timeline. You don't know.
Of course. He had posted all of that after that, and he made a post. I follow him. Listen, I follow all these politicians So I always go and see. The fact that I don't come to your stand and I know. After he has done that, he posted that I am filing a charge, a stretch. If any of my lifetime legacy or PDS
maybe even if that is the case, right? Even if that is the case, the issue is not in front of a court. Okay, I'm ceding that to you. that even if he went to social media before he went to Shrek,
yes,
the case is not in court yet, right? So Canada, Japan is allowed to talk about it.
No, I haven't for the Canadian point since this thing went to God. I've never heard anything about it.
But exactly,
I haven't.
Exactly the same thing. I'm saying that this is not in court yet. The Cathedral matter, the double identity matter is not in court yet. So
it's strategy. It's a constitutional body that would have
editorial. It's an investigation body, not. It's an investigation body, not a court of law. A difference.
So if you are giving so it means that send it into the police, and then it means that then it's not in court. So you can still go about and say whatever you want.
It's just with the police. The police are doing investigation.
Wow.
They're not in court.
I'm not a lawyer.
And even if it's in court, right? Even if it's in court, it's only lawyers who are prevented from talking about it. Any ordinary human being can talk about it. Ablakwa is not a lawyer. He can talk about it anytime he wants. It's not
anyway. In an unfortunate event that the government turns and then you guys in the foot, I will see how you speak. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Try me. All right, Paul Disosu. I know you heard a lot of things that you perhaps you agree or disagree with.
You see, how do you call it? Could you say it's once again playing mischief and trying to throw dust into the eyes of the listeners this afternoon? What are the facts of the case? Look, I'm a Christian, I go to church, and the Bible says, do not touch that anointed person. And I'm not going to do that. But it has turned out that a man of God is having two different identities, two different names, two different mothers, two different SIN numbers. It is a cause of worry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are the facts. In August 2013, this person went to the GRA in the name of Victor Kusi Boateng and applied or filled a business form. And the date of birth he gave on the business form for the 13th of August 2013 was September 7, 1971. That was his date of birth.
Mm-hmm.
The mother's name on that form is Ata Agnes. The same person went back to the GRA in another name as Kwablan Edu Jimfi. That was on 24th March 2016. Okay? And the date of birth on that form he filled was December 30th, 1969.
Okay.
And the mother's name this time has changed from Ata Agnes to Jimfwa. Yeah.
Is it possible that these are different people?
These are not different people. They've admitted, even on the court case or the
court case also known as. So in a way, the court is implicitly admitting that
not the court. It is he and his lawyers admitting that he has two different things.
Yeah, but I'm saying with the stamp of the court on it. So now it's official.
Exactly, official. So the
established that
the question
is the same person.
Yeah, the question over here is that he's the same person. A same person cannot have two different dates of birth, cannot have two different mothers, okay, and cannot have two different identities.
Right.
In this case, I think the GRA should even be taking him on because he had defrauded the state. Why is he having two different business with two different identity, two different date of birth, two different mother's maiden name? This is fraud, which he needs to go after.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
you are in data science. Yeah. You are in data science. Could it just be data quality issues?
It's not where data quality. This is a deliberate
systems are not
to fraud the system. This is not data quality issue. This is a deliberate attempt to fraud the system. Okay. Now, what are the facts of the case? The reason why Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa is going to this case and he's championing this crusade was they presented a budget to the Finance Committee in Parliament, which is part of. And it noticed that an amount of 2.6 million Ghana cedis was paid to a company that they have no knowledge about.
Right. Yes.
Has nothing to do with the cathedral. That is where all these issues started. At the time that they were paying those 2.6 million Ghana cedis to the company, at that time, the cathedral have over 6 million Ghana cedis sitting in its coffers. When you seek for clarification, the explanation that was given is that the cathedral was run out of money and that they needed money and that they went and borrowed money, which is a lie. You understand? I don't want to go into details, but for my brother to be saying that there's nothing wrong to having two different names, there's everything wrong to have two different names, two different identity, two different date of birth. That is the core of the issue. Now, the court, or it is true that Okudzeto Ablakwa has taken this thing to Shrad. He's finished Shrad with all the necessary evidence. Shrad has acknowledged his petition, and Shrad is going to look into the issue. I'll also not waste my time to go into the details of what is going to happen in Shrad, but I'll go to the point whereby, because of the crusade Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa is pursuing, this man has gone to court behind Okudzeto Ablakwa to go and seek injunction on him, prevent him, temporary injunction for 10 days to prevent him from making any further comment or publishing any further document about whether Victor Kusi Boateng, aka Kwabran Edu Jimfi. Now, you see, because they are trying to divert attention on this issue, because the man is doing his duty as a member of parliament and he's trying to expose the rot surrounding the cathedral, they try to, set him up. When or where have we seen a bailiff going to serve somebody that the video is before? When? You see, I will not.
Well, you do that sometimes as a. Yeah.
No. When and where? This is the first time I'm seeing that a bailiff.
It's done. It's done to capture the delivery, because sometimes you want to make sure that you show evidence of the service. So, my brother,
this is a deliberate attempt to just.
I've seen so many of that where a rapper. Like, let me give you an example of this rapper. Well, one of the American rappers was about to perform right on stage, and a service person went to him and, like a fan, trying to greet him on the red carpet. And then when the rapper came there, he said, "Hey, can I take a selfie with you?" Took a selfie with him and gave him the service.
That is in America. We are talking about Ghana. Look.
Well,
Alfred, can I make my case? The hypocrisy of Kojo DC and his fellow MPP men, okay, is that we were in this country, okay, January 12th, 2017, okay, January 4th, 2017, no, January 4th, 2020, or 2021, when the senior comrade Chachuchi Kata went to the court in Ho, trying to put injunction on Amewu. Okay? When the Bellefu went to 7, Amewu picked the Bellefu up. I didn't see Kojo DC talking about it. I am not
you said Amewu did what?
When Amewu was being prevented, when they went to court to prevent him from holding himself as an MP, the Bellefu went to 7. They beat the MP up. The Bellefu was beaten. Okay?
Yeah, I
didn't hear Kojo DC making all this noise, talking about, in the court, blah, blah, blah. I am not in any way justifying what Okudzeto Ablakwa did. But you see, the hypocrisy of the NPP and their communicators is getting out of hand, and we need to put them into order. Right. Yes, the Bellefu went there. They had a video. He was recording him. You also the video. He spoke to Okudzeto Ablakwa. Okudzeto Ablakwa refused to take the sermon, and the bellyful touched it on his body and dropped it on the floor.
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
got out
you
of
can
the
do
car
it.
and pushed it. He used his hand to push it near his car, which I think in that place I would have loved it
Just
if he had
taking it.
just sit in the sky and move his car, not touching it.
No, I mean, but once it's put on your body like the way the guy did, it's accepted. Those are the ways you put it on the person's
It doesn't
body.
matter. It
You have
doesn't matter.
evidence
It
of
doesn't
delivery.
matter.
You're
It's
done.
accepted.
Yeah.
But I
You
mean, I
can
would have
even
loved
throw
him
it at
not.
the person's feet and then take a
Yeah,
picture
I
and you're
would
done.
have not him using his leg to kick it. That would have not. I mean, he didn't try in that aspect. I don't think he did well. I don't think he did well in that aspect. So I mean, well, it's unfortunate that it has happened, but he has learned his lesson. But the issue is that this is not going to prevent him from championing this canker in the Cathedral saga that is ongoing. This
Right.
man will be exposed to the core. He has a lot of questions to answer to the good people of Ghana. And as I stated, if the GRA were minded, they should be going after him because he has used two different identities. There are two different identities in their system. And when you go to the Cathedral website, it's known as Victor Kusi Boateng. How come that passport has been issued to him in the name of Kwabra Edujimfi? This is a cause to worry.
Okay, but Paul, let me push
How
back a
come
little
that
bit.
NIA card is issued in the name of Kusi Kwabra Edujimfi? These are the things that we are talking about. It is a fraud. We need to look into it. He needs to be taken on. Answers to come out from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. How come somebody who is known as Victor Kusi Boateng is being issued a diplomatic passport in the name of Kwabra Edujimfi? These are issues that need to come out.
Paul, let me push back a little bit, right? Imagine that your government is in power and somebody found evidence that hasn't yet been properly investigated. I don't know how Okudzeto is pulling. I know he did RTI, which is the Right to Information Act, and pull some of this information, but it still has to go through an investigative body charged to do such a work, either through the police, through Chirac, or through somewhere to actually, and then through the court, because some of those evidence perhaps may not be admissible. Okudzeto may have put the information in the public or handled that evidence in a way that may make them not admissible. You never know. So again, I know he's releasing these things for political purposes, and he's more interested in the political capital that will be gained from these than the probity, factor or the effect that, or evidence that could be pulled out of this to actually prosecute this individual. What would you now prefer that when this type of evidence comes, that they are actually taken through the appropriate processes before they make it into the public domain? Because at the end of the day, somebody's reputation is at risk. If it turns out after proper investigation done by the institutions charged to do so, if it turns out, or if those investigations reveal that, in fact, nothing untoward is done here, don't you think Mr. Okudzeto, as a member of parliament, in his standing, shouldn't have done what he's doing with this stuff?
No, I disagree with you totally. This is a case of fraud and identity fraud. Okay.
Yeah, but it's left to
no,
another.
But you see, Alfred, the man has not come to deny that he's not called Kwabra Edujimfi. He's not denying that. He's not denying that he's one time he uses Victor Kusi Boateng. He's not denying that. He's admitted all those names. He's also admitted that the names information in the GRA system, he's admitted it. He's admitted that NIA, he went there with the name Kwabra Edujimfi. In fact, the NIA has even issued a statement saying that he came there as Kwabra Edujimfi. All these things are facts. Okay? That the court cannot throw away. They are facts that the court will be.
So then why wouldn't we let the court do its job then? Why is Ablakwa taking Ablakwa? You broke this. You've kind of revealed, or you did your investigation and found all these out.
And who told you these are
you gave it
all evidence? Who told you these are all the evidence the man have? Who told you that these are all the evidence the man have? Do you know what the man have on his chest that he's keeping to his chest?
No. Yeah, he said he has his national ID card and etc., the Ghana card and all that he's keeping to his chest. But I'm saying that, okay, so he's done enough. Like he broke the story. He gave the information to the appropriate bodies, so it's off his hand now. Why wouldn't he allow?
This man is
I think he's
a member of
still kind
parliament.
of making the political. It's making the political capital out of this. He's like
This,
constantly
of course,
trying to
because he has to make a political capital out of it.
everybody.
He has to make a political capital out of it. And also, he's a member of parliament. He's on a committee whereby documents available to him. Parliament is a place, it's a house of records. Records and documents available to him shows a lot of, corruption, malfeasance, and then act of deliberately trying to defraud the state. And he's trying to expose it. These are issues that need to be discussed in parliament, which he's talking about and he's publishing and he's talking about it. I don't see anything wrong with it. Shraj is looking into the issue. Victor Kwesi, aka Kobra Edujefi, which one is which? I don't know which one is the real name. He's also taking a civil action, trying to go to court. We wait. Let's see how it's going to turn out in court. Let's all wait. But for me, the debt identity issue over here is serious. It is very serious. We need to, the GRA, the police should be, chasing someone, should be arresting someone for having two different identity, two different date of birth, two different, PIN number. The TIN number is very, very important, which means this one has been invading taxes to the state. We need to look into it. If it were to be you or me, the police will be coming after me. Why is the police not? I am not going to attack the man because he's a man of God. I'm not going to go around that. But the truth of the issue is this man has two different identities and we need to look into it. It needs to be investigated, and whatever it is that this man has done wrong, if it turns out that all the information that we are seeing and we have heard is true, this man needs to face the law. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Kojo, do you want to?
I just wanted to say one word, right? If my brother Paul D'Souza have said that, touch the anointing one, I wouldn't know where he would have gone. That's all I can say.
All right. Okay. So let's bring Lifetime Legacy on this and then bring today's program to an end. So, right. So Lifetime Legacy, what do you say? For me, Lifetime Legacy, before you go in, for me, I feel like, you broached the investigation. You made it clear to everybody that, you know what, there is something afoul here, but there is something called preservation of the evidence for the court so that, you do not taint the evidence, because otherwise you might cause some things that could have been admitted not admissible. Some lawyers who kind of play that game with you. The manner in which you collect the evidence, it's very important with regards to whether it's admissible or not. So you've already done your parts, right? It is important that we reveal people who are, involved in acts like this, but it's more important that we prosecute them. And we don't want politicians interjecting themselves unnecessarily into the process where it causes the value of critical information that could have been used in a trial be, devalued. So on that basis, are you still going to support our brother Okudzeto in the fact that he's constantly revealing things that may become an issue when a proper trial actually begins for this man?
Thank you, Alfred. Alfred, let me, before I start submission on the real issue, I want to find out if invading tax is a criminal offense.
It is.
Okay. So from where I sit, I can say that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can say that Victor Kwesi, aka Edujefi, or whatever it is trying to invade tax. And the only way he can be successful in doing that is to have two TIN number and have dual identification. I am extremely surprised my brother Kojo, who is living in an advanced society, see nothing wrong with this criminal behavior of this pastor. I am extremely surprised. I know Kojo sometimes try to be objective, but I am surprised that he is not at this time calling the criminal pastor by the name he deserved. I'm so extremely surprised.
Mhm.
If this thing should turn to be you and I, you will see the response of Kojo. Let me take your memory back. For the purpose of national security, J.J. Rawlings, when he was out of power in 2000, traveled outside Ghana for medical reason. Surprisingly, the name used was something Gemfi,
Mhm.
if you will recall. I'm taking your memory back to 2000.
Oh, are you talking about the Reverend?
I am talking about sometime in 2000 when Rawlings was out of power.
Mm-hmm.
He traveled outside to UK for medical reason.
Right.
And for the purpose of security,
Mm-hmm.
his name was changed to something Gemfi, if you will recall.
Yeah, I didn't follow that very much like you did. So, but
I,
tell
I,
us.
did,
Okay.
I did recall my brother.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I am glad my brother Kojo recall that incident.
Okay.
And the kind of comment Kojo and his political party made at that time. This is a former president of Ghana
Mm-hmm.
who, for the purpose of security, was trying to hide his identity. We
Mm-hmm.
knew what Kojo and his likes did in Ghana. They call him all manner of names and describe him as such.
Mm-hmm.
So I am surprised my brother Kojo, 23 years down the line, see nothing wrong with the very thing they insulted Rawlings of. I'm surprised.
Right.
Alfred, for me, I think the pastor is a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it without missing words because let it be assumed without admitting that the old passport is no longer in service,
Mm-hmm.
which is bearing the name Kusi Boateng or Victor Kusi Boateng.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even assume without admitting that he is no more using that name.
Mm-hmm.
How come did that name find itself during the incorporation of the cathedral? What name did he use? I
Right.
expect my brother Kojo.
He used the Reverend Kwesi Boateng, is that?
So if, like my brother Kojo wants us to believe, the man is no longer using that name or that name is invalid, why did that name find itself again when the cathedral is being incorporated? I expect my brother Kojo will come and provide answer to this question. Now let me make progress.
You want me to do now? Or you want
Sure,
No, hold on.
is it lawful for me to have two national social security number in this country?
No, it's not.
last time you want me to come in or no?
No, come
When
in.
you get a chance, then you provide the answer, my brother. So it's the same thing. You cannot have two teams number. You get it? And also, the company in question, that is NTJ or whatever it is,
GNS.
why the man, you could see clearly that he was trying to hide his identity. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I am concerned, MPP will not see evil, will not hear evil as far as this issue is concerned. I can tell you on authority on this show that even the Siraj that our brother Okudzeto have sent the case, nothing good will come out of it because we know that it's Tiwa, who was the former CID boss, who is currently the head of the IOCO. So I don't expect anything good to come out of it. But I am happy.
Yoko is not right. That's right, my brother.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I am happy that he have sent the issue to appropriate courts. But my question to the Reverend Minister, is that if he have nothing to hide, why will he place injunction on Okudzeto? If he have nothing to hide,
Well, it is within his right to place an injunction, right? Whether you have anything
we
to
expect
or
that
not, you can't just
the
have
time he's using
Okudzeto.
to the time and the energy he's using to place the injunction, he should rather use that same time and energy to come and defend himself
defend
of the
himself
allegation.
where?
Exactly.
You are asking where?
Where would he be defending
He
himself?
should
In
come
the
and talk to
media?
the media. He should come and talk to the
The media
public.
is not a courtroom.
Nah,
I mean, the media.
I am not saying that media is a courtroom.
Okay, so I can't
get
go.
it.
You are accusing me of a crime, which you've taken to an investigative body. Why should I waste my time in the media?
Okay, so he will have his day, but like I said, we know criminal-minded are in power. They will do what they have to do.
Careful what
But
you
for
say
me,
now.
I am happy my brother Okudzeto have done what is needful. And also, my brother Kojo alleged that Okudzeto was living in Mamplobi. It is not true. Before Okudzeto became a minister and also to become an MP, he was living in Dansoma. I want to place it on record.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for those comments. You made a few. You had a few questions for Kojo. So Kojo, maybe take some 2 minutes to answer those questions.
Can I
We'll go to.
come in?
I thought we coming to
Please.
you right after that. Okay, I mean, if you're in a hurry, then I could talk
No,
to
I'm
you.
not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry though. I'm not in a hurry. You're coming.
No, the only question that my brother was asking, right? In 2015, there was a court.
Right.
Let my brother.
Okay, let your senior go.
If I go in for it, I'm driving, so let it if I go in. So
Okay, perfect. The thing is, we have to root some of these criminal activities out of the system in one way or the other, right? But majority of the time, we see our MPs leading the charge. Canada, Japan did it in the case of Opuni, made so many allegations, and it's becoming difficult to actually prosecute that case. I don't know if it is because evidence were getting thrown out because of the way they were acquired. I don't know if the case was built on such politically acquired evidence. So I see the same pattern repeating itself in this particular case where a politician is acquiring this evidence, and in most cases, you and I know that the nature of acquisition of the evidence impacts whether its admissibility in most cases. So is it proper that we accuse each other in the political sphere and dirty each other's name, and then it ends up in nowhere? And the case is delayed so much so that by the time the case is done, the person's name is already destroyed and there's nothing to be done. The name Wodiome, for instance, right now is a household name that we all know how that case shaked out. So many other people have been victim of this. Should we be careful about how we kind of approach these things, especially for politicians who have access to this information, especially where there are avenues for them avenues where they can seek redress?
Thank you very much, Abuzo. Greetings to our panelists. I'm sorry for being late. So many engagements that they're pulling me out. I have to push myself to come in.
I understood.
Yeah. You see, some of our politicians and our leaders and some of our technocrats are very irresponsible. They are criminals themselves. With no reference to anybody, my statement is gonna fit the people that it perfectly fits. They are criminals themselves walking around. MPs are criminals. MPs, politicians, people in government, people in opposition, criminals walking free and taking advantage of the system and all stuff like that. You see, and when you see a criminal, okay, when you see that it's a criminal, there's somebody that is taking advantage of the system because of a loophole or whatever it is not within your remit. It's not within your remit as whatever to try to prove yourself. If you're doing that for something else other than what it is. Now, you see, what we have right now is what we have. If Yoko is not going to do anything, I don't care. because it has been a consistent pattern. It didn't start right now. If police is not going to do anything about it, that is not my duty. I don't care, because there's a consistent pattern. We have government upon government. We come and we complain about the same thing. You see, the citizens are tired of that. If you find a criminal activity going on, you have to report to the appropriate quarters. When you listen to Okudzeto and all the allegations that he's talking, it's not even Shraj. It's not Shraj. It is a criminal matters. Shraj can do their own investigation. How about the police? How about the criminal investigating bodies of our system?
Well, there is a Shraj component to that, right? Because Shraj does the conflict of interest and the white collar crimes. The white collar crimes usually go to your.
Exactly.
So there is a.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
So I'm just saying that to tell you that Shraj is appropriate.
Shraj, okay, if Shraj is appropriate, then leave it as such. Then leave it there. Give all the evidence to Shraj and keep quiet and let us go. Right? You've taken to Shraj. The man has responded that if Shraj calls me, he'll come. Now, in any case, let me make this clear. The laws are clear on how multiple names can be used because of a peculiar system or nature we have. Me, I'm Koko Kufa. Locally, I'm Koko Kufa.
Are you sure you want to defend that part of the situation? Because what is being alleged here is not just the fact that you have a house name and whatever. What has been alleged here is that you have two properly registered names with two identifiers.
You see, so it's criminal. And for me, either you sue, I mean, even Shraj you see, Shraj is an investigative body that kind of cluster the situation. That's what I see. Shraj is not a punitive place to take such matters for me. So I don't even know what intention he has taken it to Shraj. These are serious matters.
We are saying that there is a criminal component.
So, Alfred,
No, hold on. What I'm not saying. What is bringing out are criminal matters, right? You using double identity to do this and that and that and that.
We did not hear you, so you have to come back to your comment. If I hold on, what I'm saying to you is this right now.
Somebody else.
What I'm saying to you, I got him. I muted him. That was Kojo. So what I'm saying to you is that there is the conflict of interest aspect of this, where some money is making it to an organization that he owns, and so that fits perfectly within Shraj's domain, right? But like the criminal aspect you are speaking to, if it is established then that yes, he has those two identities, then there gotta be other processes to deal with that. It doesn't necessarily have to be Shraj, but other processes can be triggered. Sometimes I don't know how Ghanaian jurisdictions work in Ghana, but that could be added as a supplementary jurisdiction to which I'm not sure if Shraj has power to deal with that. But if it is added as a supplementary jurisdiction, then maybe Shraj can also take on the criminal aspect of it. But for now, the conflict of interest aspect fits perfectly within Shraj's, jurisdiction. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Conflict of interest within Shraj. When you find somebody engaged in criminal activity, it's straight away police case. Straight. And you see, let us not. Why Okudzeto is using to go around, it is more politically motivated than trying to fix a problem in the society. We all know these things are issues in the society we gotta get rid of. As an MP, you are speaking on my behalf. You see, what I cannot do, that's why you are MP, oversight of the executive and legislation. This is not right. Let's fix this and let's put this here. See, none of that in there. It is straight away. You report to the police.
Part of their responsibility is to provide oversight to the executives as well. So this is an executive outfit, right? Especially if it's receiving budgets funding, then it falls right within his supervision. So it's not out of step. In other words, Okudzeto is doing his job.
I understand that. But you see, when you look at all that is happening, and once you make a statement or once you make allegation, you don't expect the allegation to stand without a defense or without people challenging that allegation. You have to prove it and prove it to the point where the appropriate quarters will make the exact announcement that we want. At this point, it is allegation. You believe this is what it is. Now we have the body that will stamp on it and say, okay, what you believe is right or what you believe is not right. And we haven't gotten there yet. In the course of the process, okay, yes, Yoko, to do with maybe conflict of interest, but criminal activities and stuff like that. By the time Yoko finishes, I don't know how long they're going to take. But why not the police? Why not report him to the police that this man did this, so investigate this? The simplicity of it. This institution is dealing with it, that institution is dealing with that. That is one aspect. Now, as an MP, speaking on behalf of the citizen, I haven't had any question to any content to come to Parliament and answer questions. Because most of these things is calling about they were in Parliament. Who is responsible for coming to Parliament to answer this and that and that? Has any question been asked and stuff like that? That is also another aspect. Now, as you are dealing with these things, then the other person is also challenging you on other stuff. And then you don't want to respond to that, which is the case with the court restrictions. You see, we have a system where...
Like what? What?
Oh, like the restriction that was placed on Okudzeto for intruding into the private affairs of this man.
He's been served, right? So he has that.
No, but no, the way he went about it, he's not going to respond to it. And if you check our MPs, that's why I'm saying that in the country, politicians, leaders, opinion, media people, and that are irresponsible that they arrogate power to themselves.
But you
that
are,
they think that
you are
they can go out there and deal with people. People can't deal with them. I'm very disappointed in the way Okudzeto disrespected that court order. He didn't take it.
Efa, you are not. If you are not, people dodge. Matter of fact, you should know this, right? Service of court orders can either be served on the person or to the person's address, or published in the newspaper after a couple of trials. If you can't get to serve the person physically, you can publish it in a periodical that is widely circulated for a couple of days. And that should be considered as properly served. So it is not that, the only means to really serve him is to actually put it on him. And besides that, the person already threw it at his feet. If you throw it at his feet, he's served. I mean, these are established principles in procedure. So it is not that an action on his part will cause him to go contrary to the provisions of that order and not be held by the court. But he's subject to the court, whether he throws tantrum or whatever he does. I mean, if he goes against what the court order is saying, the temporary restraining order is saying, if he goes against that, the court has to enforce it. But he hasn't done that yet.
But I'm not expecting him.
We can't be.
But Alfred, is he expecting the government to also do the same to some of these things, that some of these allegations is leveling against the reverend? Apparently, he's expecting a logical conclusion to that allegation. So why would he not subject himself to the law? Why would he playing that? I'm saying that, trying to swerve and stuff like that. Take it, face the reality, and go by what the court says. No, you see, let us not defend some of these things. Nobody should defend the reverend. He has to defend himself. He has to go and tell the court why he has double name, double identity, and all that.
I think you are expressing your frustration in the wrong place, though, because Okudzeto doesn't have to accept the order. It just has to be thrown at him. That's it. So whether he accepts it by taking it or it's thrown at him,
doesn't have to accept an order from the court.
I'm saying
why is he saying 1, 2, and 1 that
right? I'm saying that you are asking him something that is not prescribed by the law. The law does not say he has to take a service. The law says a service has to be just given to you, whether you take it or not. In other words, even if it is thrown at you, it can be served in your house. If I know where you live,
what I'm saying is that, Alfred, I understand what I'm saying is that, you see, as somebody who is, leading all these kind of stuff, the president is there, this person is that. When it is your turn and you are turning away, that's how you want us to.
What is his
abiding? You want somebody to be not abiding?
Okay, what is his
what kind of society is that?
But let's be kind of slow on this. What is his turn? Has he committed any criminal acts that makes it his turn? I mean, you have to compare equivalents, right? All he's doing here is, being served. And when he's being served, the issue is now whether he accept the service. So you cannot be comparing this to somebody who actually broke a law. He has not broken any law in this particular case.
Okay. So
the
for now,
was properly served. So where is your beef? I want to understand. I want to understand where your beef lies, because the service of the court order was properly served on him. Period. Case closed. No law is broken there.
But the circumstances surrounding it is very unbecoming.
He has not beaten the person who was making the server. If we don't deal with anything.
If you don't deal with some of these issues, it is what escalates to the highest level, where people in authority, presidents, ministers, CEOs, MPs, DCEs, and such, they arrogate certain level of power themselves that are not within the law. You are being said, why do you have to do all this drama? Huh? Why do you have to throw away all this and then be properly served?
Your frustration is directed to the wrong place. In his case, what was done when the service was being, the orders were being served to him was proper. There was no law broken there. So, yeah, exactly.
So let's deal with Kuja.
Paul, you are on mute.
I am not. I've told you that it is within the remit of the
Alfred, Axifa, where was he when Amewu was served and they beat the bellyful? Where was he? Did he come to condemn it?
We want to move fast.
Did he come to condemn it?
So
this is not a hypocrisy.
Okay, Paul. This issue of a happy yesterday, so it's okay today. I don't want to hear that.
But did you hear me?
Why are you making that comparison? If it was good, why are you making that comparison?
Did you hear me saying that?
I guess that's coming in because you are frustrated.
Yes.
When
No. I am not frustrated by anything. No.
You are frustrated by Okudzeto not accepting the temporary restraining order. And I'm saying that
is a separate issue from what we are discussing. The Reverend. I am doing it.
But Alfred, what if I'm trying to arrive
to justify this? But somebody that was doing this, why would he also doing that kind of stuff?
Okay,
no. You cannot isolate it of a sort. But I'm not using that to justify this. As for what the Reverend has done and what Okudzeto doing, I'm not defending the Reverend though. Oh no.
But you can't compare those two things. You can't compare those two things.
His name. It is not up to do that. I don't know him from anywhere.
But that's what you're
doing.
I'm not coming to defend
anybody.
You are saying that if the Reverend if the member of parliament is breaking or not following the law himself, then why should he be accusing somebody else of not following the law? But in this particular case, I'm pointing to you that there was no not following the law by the member of parliament. Service was properly done. Case closed. So you couldn't even bring that up as a source of your frustration. I think your frustration should be directed towards the person who...
Come on. You are being disrespectful to the court. Come on, neglect that. Why would somebody that made the law be disrespectful to the implementation of the law?
Let it be on record. Let it be on record that when I was making my submission, I stated that unfortunately, I think I disagree with Okudzeto Ablakwa stepping on the court sermon. I disagree with him. But
what is wrong with that? Why would you?
I don't see anything wrong with it. But since Brother Ifa and his communicators are making issue out of it, we have to let them understand that it is wrong. Yes, something
there's nothing wrong with that. You are properly.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that is why I'm saying that I would have raised Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa after the guy touched him with the sermon. He should have just seen this guy move away. He shouldn't have even come out and then step on it, push it away. He shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, even if he did all that, right? Let's say he came, step on it, and all that. It does not prevent. It doesn't erase the fact that he was properly served.
Anyway, his lawyers are going to respond. He has directed his lawyers to respond.
If he wants to test that, he should go against the orders and see what happened to him. So again, you know, I mean, I think this is a non-issue, to be honest. The real issue is what we probably should be frustrated about, which is the fact that somebody's having. But I'll let Efa finish.
Yeah, I'm worried about the way, but Efa is worried because I mean, West thing happened in 2021, January 4th. He didn't see anything wrong with it, and he's very frustrated about this one. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, Paul, let him take over and finish his submission up. So let's do that in some quick minutes.
I want him to equally condemn what Amewu did to the bellyful in whole. He should condemn it.
We're not doing that now, right? Let's move away from that. You did enough of the Amewu piece. You made us very much aware of what Amewu did, so that's fine. Afa, tackle the substantive issues. Let's go. I think Afa dropped off. All right. So, Paul, since you're on, why don't we do last words from you, Paul, and then we can bring it up. Is there anything else you like to talk about with regards to the two issues we've discussed today, or any final words from today's conversation that you would like to leave us with?
My final words today is to tell my brother Ifa that he should not be frustrated. These issues, once Okudzeto Ablakwa, whether he step on it or not, he's going to abide by the restriction from the court. And I just want to encourage Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa to continue with his crusade, expose all the rot surrounding the cathedral. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. How about you, Kojo DC? Are you able to give us last words? Anything lingering in your mind that you would like to share that you haven't had the opportunity to?
Thank you, Alfred. The only thing I wanted to answer about my brother lifetime legacy was that, you see, in 2015 there was a ruling against I just want to find it. I'll send it to you, and I think it's been circulating since this thing came out. There's nothing wrong in accounts having a household name and having another name, and like I already said, if anybody should come out here and give me any criminality in terms of what the Reverend has done, I'm not defending him. I just want to pinpoint, like I've already said since my submission, let's make sure we just don't tarnish people's image just for political expedience. And my brother Paul D'Susu said it. He said, yes, we are doing it for political reasons. That's why we are doing it. Nothing. He admitted it on your show. So that's it. By the way, let's make sure that we are men of integrity. When things comes out, we'll say when something is wrong, is wrong. The tantrums of Okudzeto Ablakwa was uncalled for as a member of parliament. You know, as a member of parliament who makes laws, you're supposed to obey them. Even when you disagree with them, you just have to show that maturity. But like my brother Ifa said, he's just arrogating the power to himself that he's untouchable. Nobody can say anything, but he can touch anybody that he wants. Where is that in anywhere in the Constitution? So at the end of the day, thank you again for giving me the opportunity to be here. My brother Paul D'Susu PDS, and then Lifetime Legacy, and my Director of Communication. We'll meet next week.
All right, thank you so much, and always appreciate you joining and giving us all your thoughts on the issues as we table them. Thank you. Efa is here now, so Efa, I know you were saying a lot before you leave, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to do your last word, but combine that for me with the rest of the things that you want to bless us with this afternoon before we check out. We may be having a problem with Afa. Afa, if you can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it's not Paul. It is Lifetime Legacy. He's been interfering. Oh no, it's Paul rather, not Lifetime Legacy. He's been interfering with my connections. Yeah. A brief comment. What the AG said. You see, what we expect from from our leaders, and when they come in, problem they see. I see where his frustration is coming from and stuff like that. But it is a system that we have. It is what we've built. If you are rich and you can get a very powerful lawyer who can really look through the law and use it to delay, or even frustrate or abandon your case, anybody is going to do that.
I think you're reading ill motive into whatever legal tactics may be deployed by counsel. So it may not necessarily be.
No.
Yeah,
it's not ill motive. You are doing law, and you will understand. Now, law has two aspects.
No, you are saying that.
Law has two aspects. Okay, law has two aspects, and all of them are right until judgment. Both the accused and the defense, they are all right until judgment. That is the basis of law. You have accused me. I have a right to defend myself, and I'm going to use all resources and anything available to me to defend myself. Now, when it comes to application of the law, the people that are powerful, yes, they employ a lot of frustrative attacks. So as time goes on, you need to do reforms within your judiciary to fix all these things. Why don't America has these problems? Because some of them are clear cut. When you try to manipulate and try to use it, they catch you and they bring, hey, no, you this one, we already fixed it, so come in here. But if a lawyer knows that this one there, you've lost, and then they will tell you, okay, go and defend me, and they can frustrate and prolong it, they will prolong it so long as they can. If they can frustrate and abandon the case, they will do it. It is the mark of any lawyer you can get.
Do you think
any lawyer?
That's what is happening in this case?
No.
Would you say that's
so? Exactly that is what is happening. If you've been following the sequences of it, the frustration of the judges, the way the banter between the judge and all that, all these things are matters of where the accusations and counter accusations. It is all coming from the defense to frustrate you and prolong it.
You wouldn't allow defense counsel to do proper. You wouldn't allow defense counsel to do proper cross-examination of witnesses before somebody's liberty get taken away.
So the word proper is subjective. You see, because of the way the law is, right? So they can do whatever they will. You see, let me tell you, if we had not brought rules to bring the petition within a certain distance, it will still be dragging on. The petition will still be dragging on to this date. It would have traveled more than 1 year. Massa, don't joke with lawyers.
Okay, but so you know that in case management, all these timelines are established before we get into the case itself. You show your card because there's no more trial by surprise, right? You show your card. This is number of witnesses I'm going to, want to bring. These are the number of. This is how long I might need to do it. So this is not like surprise or anything. Everybody knew the game before we went in.
Yeah, but case management is based on whatever law has been established. Okay. Now, I'm giving you two case scenarios: the 2016, 2017 petition, and the 2020, 2021 petition. This one was seen to be too prolonged. It traveled about 6 months. Now, this time round, we are not going to do that. So case management has nothing to do with what the law says. If certain things cannot be contained within the law, as you want to establish during the case management, it will not be allowed. Massa, everything is law, opinion and all that. It's been established right there. You need to do consistent reforms within your establishment. Okay? So what I'm expecting the Attorney General to do, for me, I've always said that it is not what is happening and that is my problem. What about tomorrow? Because somebody is going to take advantage of it tomorrow or the next day. So long as you haven't fixed the problem, you cannot lament. Leadership is not about lamentations. Do it and get it wrong so that somebody comes in, or do it and get it right. When you lament and lament and lament, it means, it's kind of like we don't have a solution to this. I am seeing cases that will travel more than 6 years. Some cases are at the court that have traveled 10 years. How about those cases?
Yeah, litigation takes time.
Yeah, but no, some of them, when you go through the cases, the lawyers will tell you this one there, somebody is somewhere manipulating something.
Nah,
Or somebody is taking advantage of a loophole in the system. So
you know,
reforms, fix it. That's how your system. You don't lament, you fix it. So that is
every bar has its own models of conduct, right?
Okay, so let's enjoy it then. Let the AG enjoy it and stop complaining.
Exactly. So basically, if there's anything being done which is against the code of conduct that lawyers are, the model code of conduct which lawyers in Ghana are supposed to abide by, then the AG should actually move a motion to put that lawyer on notice or drag him to the bar and question him for
that will also take a political tone. You know how our system works. But we are doing my comment too.
Oh, it happens all the time. I mean, if somebody's misbehaving and abusing the system, because it costs money for the judge to see. The judge sitting there is getting paid. All the scripts who comes and writes, and take notes and do all those, keep the records. They are all getting paid. So the longer you do these things, the longer it takes the average Ghanaian to continue to fund your abuse of the process. So if that is the case, I think the Attorney General has a venue to deal with that. The judge has a venue he can pull them to his chamber and warn them. So until if they are not doing this, then him coming into the media and making all this noise he just made about it's unfair that it takes too long to kind of rule or judge, adjudicate this case. It's also equally unfair for you to rush somebody through a process and deny him his liberty when he hasn't had a proper day in court. So I think the Attorney General is in the wrong on this one. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you're entitled to it. But what I want to see is I hate lamentations. In fact, I hate that. Fix it. You see, the unacceptable aspects of the whole process means somebody is manipulating something is not right in the system. And we've said this consistently. There are cases that are later, people, trivial issues. Somebody punish somebody is just taking advantage of the situation and stuff like that. We need to come to the table, MPs, Attorney General, the system, the judiciary, all of them need to come together. Let's get rid of it. But something benefits somebody, so it lingers on. So that is just that. Now, the other question of Okudzeto and double identity and stuff like that, it is always right when we see something that is not right in the system to fix it, and we have to fix it.
Right.
In the course of fixing it, let us also not fix it like we are taking advantage of a situation to just bastardize somebody and stuff like that. Criminal issues matters not to be trivialized, and I don't really see the essence of jumping from one station to another and stuff like that. That is irresponsible of an MP. That is unacceptable, and that doesn't solve the problem. Go to the appropriate court, make reforms in the system, and make sure that in taking advantage of a particular loophole in the system, let us plug it, let us fix it. Because that is why you are there as an MP, might be here, because other than that, all of us would have been there making that decision possible as we speak. So Okudzeto, yes, nobody is saying don't look for corruption and criminal activities and bring to book, but go to the core of the issue. And when you are served, and when the person is taking you on, let us also see the interaction between the law, so we all can appreciate the situation. Don't think that above the law and that you can step on this thing. That is on behalf of an MP. You make the laws. Somebody has to interpret it, and you have to respect the interpretation.
You have a misplaced frustration, man. You should keep your mind straight. The issue, the problem is with the ones who are having the two identities and opening companies and using them to cause us financial loss. The issue really is not who has been served and the manner in which they've been served. By the way, there is also a differentiation that we need to make between who has the power to effect change and who is just a sort of an overseer. The MPs They provide supervisory, they provide like oversight to the executives. They don't have power to change anything, right? Except that they can pass a law. They can release an act in parliament to do a specific thing, to guide how the executive will behave. And it's up to the executive to implement those things. So again, Mr. Okudzeto is limited as to what he can do. I think his function is to bring this to the public attention because, of course, he's representing the people. He brings it to the public's attention and submit it to the executive branch that is authorized to actually look into this thing. So anyway, that's just my quick take on that.
He's overdoing the public aspect. He's overdoing it. He's too overzealous.
It's politics, right? It's where politics and
Exactly the exact word you use it. He's playing politics with it. But we want solutions. We don't want to be politicking. We want solutions. Too many problems in the world to be politicking.
Well, we call it the anti-democratic difficulty that we have, right? Because the people's representative would have to make decisions that sometimes, because the president is who is elected by the people to kind of run the system. The member of parliament is also elected to kind of oversee the president. So if the president and his appointees are doing things that is anti-democratic, which is, for instance, having two identities that causes you to have companies that get funds that were meant for one thing be diverted into those other companies, that is difficult. So I call that anti-democratic difficulty. Anyway, lifetime, I think you are the only one left, so we can go.
Alfred.
Yeah.
Thank you once again. So I want to respond to my brother Kojo. I am not saying
you're doing final words, so don't bring Kojo into an argument again. Just kind of let's wrap it up and
go. I am not saying the man should not have a name aside the name known in the public. You and I, including my brother Kojo, we have names that our parents call us, or a specific family member used to call us.
Kofi. Yeah.
That is not our official name. Over here, we are talking about a pastor who is indulging in criminal activities by having two official names. That is what we are talking about. If you go to my family, I have about 3 or 4 names, depending on who is calling me. If my aunties are calling me, they have a name they call me. If my uncles are calling me, they have a name they call me. If my mom is calling me, they have a name they're calling me. If my sisters are calling me, they have a name they call me.
They have a different name for you.
But
okay.
Ultimately, I have only one name on my official document. That is what we are talking about here. My brother Ifa and Kojo to stop defending the indefensible.
Stop throwing gas.
Call a spade, not a big spoon.
Okay.
My brother Okudzeto should continue the crusade. We are solidly behind him. We should continue to expose the criminals within our society who are hiding behind the Bible to do the wrong thing. You should continue. You have our support.
Okay.
The Attorney General, his frustration, we don't care whether he's frustrated or not. When they were running their mouth, promising of Ghanaians of jail, as if the law is in their pocket, we should allow the due process to follow. Or should allow the due process to work. And stop registering his frustration on us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That's the show for today. I appreciate everybody who was able to make it. If you are watching us for the first time, we are on every Saturday between 2 p.m. US time, which currently will be about 7 p.m. Ghana time. Again, this is the Ghana agenda today. We had these 2 very crucial issues that we did justice to, I believe. And I want to, take the opportunity to say a big thank you to all my panelists for stopping by, and to all the viewers, those who made comments, to Togi Hanyo, who has been an avid supporter of the show, and to all who would watch it after. Thank you so much for all your support that you give to our show. We will be back next week. If it is Saturday, you know what time it is. All right. Have a good rest of the week. All right. Bye-bye.